Welcome to Perkins Online, the thinking person's talk show. Now here's your host, Wilmot Mutty Perkins.
Good morning, everybody. Morning, and welcome once again to Perkins Online. What is happening with this investigation into the death of Mr. Woolmer, the Pakistani team coach? The police, there was a post-mortem done yesterday, an autopsy, and the police, and there was a press conference following the autopsy, in which it was said that the results of the autopsy were inconclusive and further investigations were being conducted. Then, as I understand it, 9:30 last night, a special press conference was summoned, at which the police disclosed that the circumstances of Mr. Woolmer's death were suspicious. Suspicious. Now, what does that mean? What are we expected to understand from that? Suspicious. Now, I don't know. It seems to me that is saying that, first of all, there is reason for thinking that the death was not due to natural causes. Suspicious. The death was not due to natural causes. I can't see the police reasonably talking about his death being, the circumstances of his death being suspicious, or the information yielded from investigations, whether the post-mortem or whatever, giving rise to suspicion. If it was well, in relation to natural causes, right? So, suspicion seems to be turning away from the likelihood of it being due to natural causes. The next possibility is that Mr. Woolmer his death was due to his own action, whether deliberate or accidental. Whether he set out to commit suicide or he just happened to have been taking some pills and went and had a drink or two when he should not have with those pills, and that led to his death. I can't see the police. I can't see anyone wishing to describe that as suspicious. The word suspicious seems to me to imply that there is some potential suspect lurking about who had something to do with his death. Now, why would the police be putting forward such an idea, or creating the likelihood of such an inference being drawn, if they had no strong evidence pointing in that direction? And, well, I don't know. I suppose it depends on where the suspicion finally takes us, or the investigation suggested along the lines of the suspicion takes us. And then we have here an email. It says news on sports. Woolmer's death treated as murder. Right? And where is this from? It's from the watch the front page of what's it called? Al Jazeera News. The sports section of it, from today's paper. And it is saying, well, I gave you the headline. The death of Bob Woolmer, the Pakistan cricket coach, is being treated as murder. A Pakistan team spokesman has said. Well, he hasn't said that to the Jamaican media. And this is a quotation here. The police suspect that Woolmer may have been murdered. They have started an investigation. Pakistan Cricket Board spokesman Pervez Mir said on Wednesday. Mark Shields, the deputy chief constable of they got that wrong. Well, I don't know. Deputy commissioner, yes, all right, maybe. Deputy chief constable of the Jamaica Police Force said that the death was being treated as suspicious. Right? He said, quote, the post-mortem into the death of Mr. Woolmer was inconclusive. But having met with the pathologists and other medical personnel, there is sufficient information to continue a full investigation into the circumstances of Woolmer's death, which is now being treated as suspicious. That's a quotation. We take a break. We come back in a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. It seems to me that Jamaica could do without all this bad publicity. Up to now, it seems as if there is, I don't know. I think it seems a little unlikely that this, I don't know. I don't know. But wouldn't it have been better had the police, if my understanding is correct, and what they had was a press conference, which I heard on a radio station this morning, a press conference at 9:30 last night. I think we could have done without that. And this notion that, his death, the circumstances of his death are suspicious. We could have done without that. And all they had to say was that the post-mortem is inconclusive, but the matter is being thoroughly investigated. I don't think we needed more than that. Anyway, let's see how it turns out. The other big item in the, I don't know, there's an item in the news regarding Trafigura. It's in the Observer this morning. There's a discussion in Parliament about it yesterday, in which the Prime Minister was questioned by the opposition on the matter. And I don't know, I don't get the impression that she dealt adequately, she gave a sense of command and of being thoroughly, acquainted with the circumstances. And I don't know, it was a rather wishy-washy performance. First of all, she said something about, I heard these words on a television program last night. I think we should stop playing politics with a very serious matter. A very serious matter. She's admitting then that this Trafigura affair is not just a trifling matter. It is a very serious matter. And I thoroughly agree with her on that. But then she seems to be saying that while this is a very serious matter, and therefore a matter that one might have expected it to be the duty of the opposition to get to the bottom of and to expose all that had to do with it. She calls the effort to do that playing politics. And I've never quite understood how politicians, people who are themselves directly involved in politics, are always so, are often so anxious to seek to dismiss some matter of public importance by talking about playing politics. What does playing politics mean? Trivializing something, trying to make more of something than it is worth, trying to benefit directly from the embarrassment of your opponents, the based upon a falsification of the issues? Is that what it means? Well, where is that happening here? The Prime Minister is admitting that this Trafigura issue is a very serious matter. It is. And therefore the country needs to get to the bottom of it. We need to know what it is that happened. And it isn't just a matter of the PNP, whether the PNP received a donation from Trafigura, or whether Trafigura, as she says in this report, she's quoted by the let me see if I can find it. That Mr. Colin Campbell, here it is. But when asked by opposition MP Carl Samuda whether the consultancy suggested in the agreement between CCOC and Trafigura was undertaken, the Prime Minister said, "My advice is that the money was a contribution to the People's National Party, and so there was no consultancy." Right? No, hold on a little bit. There must be something further up. I had no basis on which to proceed any further. The Prime Minister, no, she said, the question is whether CCOC, Mr. Colin Campbell's Colin Campbell's account, into which the money was paid by CCOC, by Trafigura. Did Mr. Colin Campbell accept a commission? And he has said that it was a business arrangement, and the money was paid in relation to a commercial arrangement. Now, what was that commercial arrangement? We need to know exactly, because how can a minister of the Jamaican government, whether a minister or the government itself, be entering privately into, or the party that forms the government, be entering privately into a commercial arrangement having to do with issues with which they are also concerned as government? I don't quite understand what is going on there. Right? All of that needs to be exposed. And the spinners of the People's National Party are trying to divert attention from these issues having to do with the Trafigura matter to the question of party funding. Right? That is nonsense. Party funding may be of some importance, and it may be that we need to get down to the business of how our party is funded and what is the proper and what is improper and so on. But that is another issue. Trafigura here, the Trafigura matter, involves a lot more, because the issue is whether there has been impropriety in the conduct of the government. The government has a deal with Trafigura, an arrangement with Trafigura to lift Nigerian oil. The Nigerians are supposed to have given this oil at concessionary rates. What was that concessionary rate? 12 cents a barrel? Nonsense. It had to be a lot more than that. Now, how is it then that Jamaica is collecting 12 cents a barrel off it? Right? Is the government giving a portion of the concession made by Nigeria to Jamaica? Is the government giving that to Trafigura? Why would that be so? Doesn't Trafigura lift Nigerian oil and a lot of other traders in oil? Don't they buy Nigerian oil and sell it and make a profit? Why would Trafigura have to share in the concession? And how much is that concession? Is it 24 cents a barrel? My understanding is that it was somewhere in excess of $5 US. Now, if that is so, then what has been happening to $4.78? Where has that been going? All of this we need to find out. We take a break. We come back in a moment. Hey, thank you very much. We're back here online. And let me just go back for a moment to this Trafigura issue. At the lead paragraph in the story carried in the Observer this morning, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller said yesterday that the $31 million donation from Dutch firm Trafigura Bahir to the People's National Party resulted from a service agreement between the Dutch firm and CCOC, Colin Campbell, our candidate association. Right? No. First of all, there is, as I understand it, no firm capable of CCOC is merely an account having to do with Mr. Colin Campbell's campaigning. Colin Campbell, our candidate. That's the name of the account. Right? So how is CCOC going to provide Trafigura with the kind of service for which they are supposed to have paid this 31 or 40, whatever it is, $1 million. Right? And if Colin Campbell, our candidate, is providing that service to Trafigura, how does Trafigura make a contribution of $40 million to, or whatever it is, to the People's National Party? Right? Mark you, the money was paid to CCOC. But then that raises another question. How can Colin Campbell, a member of the government, and in fact, Minister of Development, how can Colin Campbell be accepting this commission to perform a service to Trafigura? And we are told that this service has to do with the making of some, provision regarding bauxite. Right? Bauxite, supplies of bauxite. They want to be able to get some bauxite out of Jamaica. This is what the rumor is. Now, this is a matter with which the Minister of Development would be concerned. Right? How can Mr. Colin Campbell's CCOC bank account, right? That is all it is, a bank account. How can Mr. Colin Campbell's bank account be taking on the responsibility to provide this service to Trafigura, while Mr. Colin Campbell himself is a member of the government? This needs exploring. And to associate this with, to say that what really needs to happen is that we should be forgetting Trafigura and getting into the business of discussing party funding. That's rubbish. Maybe we need to discuss party funding. Fine. But that's a separate issue. Go and discuss that. That does not mean that we can leave up this issue of Trafigura. And the Prime Minister has got to be able, if she really wants to convince the people of Jamaica of the innocence of this matter, she has to do a better job of it than she did in Parliament yesterday. Right? What her performance, such as I saw of it, and have heard of it, was most unconvincing. Most unconvincing. She needs to do better than that. One hell of a lot better. Now the question is she capable of it? Okay. And just before we go to our callers, there is a story in the Gleaner, the Gleaner's business section. The cash-strapped Ministry of Finance, whose fiscal numbers are already off target by $7.6 billion, has instructed the Director General of Tax Administration, Vinette Reese, Vinette R-E-E-N-E, K-E-E, Keen, Vinette Keen, yeah, to cease refunding the payment of withholding taxes on investments to pension funds. Wednesday Business has learned. And this is a quotation. We have problems recently for the past 2-3 months. When we call, we are told that they got directives from the Ministry of Finance, said a source. Again, quote, I suspect that the Ministry of Finance is trying to curtail expenses for the rest of the fiscal year to ensure that the fiscal numbers don't come out looking bad. But no one knows when they will start sending the refund check with the refund checks. And what is happening here is that they are exploiting the pension funds, holding money that is due to the pension funds without paying interest on it, right? And restricting the potential of the pension funds for benefiting the pensioners. And we know that pensioners in this country, except for the prime ministers, perhaps the former prime ministers, are notoriously suffering. Most of them, they're suffering hardships as a result of the limitations of their pensions and their pension funds. And for the Ministry of Finance to be exploiting these pensioners in this way, right, is scandalous. They're holding on to their money in order to give a better impression of the state of the country's finances, right? And in the meantime, these people are suffering. Dr. Omar Davis at it again, right? The government seems to have no concern for people, right? And even for what is right and wrong. They don't care. Now, how long is this going to continue? And where is it going to end? Right? That is the problem. Anyway, it's a decision for Jamaicans to make. And it's no use blaming Dr. Davis if you give him your approval. Right? NCB Insurance is owed about $794 million on this account. You hear that? This is one company that has control of pension funds. And that one company, NCB Insurance, is owed about $794 million. Okay, we take a break. We come back in a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here, and I'm told that we have online Mr. Delroy Chuck.
Hey,
hello?
Mutty, how are you?
Mr. Chuck, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
I take it you were in Parliament yesterday?
Yes, I was.
Yes?
I rarely miss Parliament.
Uh-huh. And particularly when the Prime Minister is going to be delivering such a magnificent performance.
I must admit, Mutty, at times it was very embarrassing.
I beg your pardon?
At times, it was very embarrassing
In what way, sir?
to hear direct questions being posed to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister just deliberately, I would say, just ignore them.
Uh-huh.
The members of the opposition ask direct questions. Questions, has the money been returned? Let us look at campaign financing. That's the response. It was really embarrassing. Then you ask the question, in what form was it returned? This is serious business, We must not play politics with serious business.
I heard that and I wrote it down.
And then you see, it's obvious that, there are so many questions, Mutty, that remain unanswered. And I heard your discussion, on it.
Yes.
And it's obvious that I am not the person to answer most of these questions. We need the Prime Minister to be straight with the Jamaican people. We need Danny Buchanan, or for that matter, the chairman of the party, Bobby Pickersgill, or their legal advisor, A.J. Nicholson, to come and be straight with the people of Jamaica.
But if the reluctance to be straight, sir, and there seems to be a clear reluctance to be straight with the Jamaican people,
yes,
must indicate that the government cannot afford to be straight, because being straight would disclose what would be devastatingly embarrassing to the government.
But there's no doubt about that, Mutty. Because, Andrew Gallimore tried to ask a question in several different ways to the Prime Minister. How do you explain that this money, which he admitted was a political donation to the PNP, at the time when the same company is getting a contract from the government of which the party is in government?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
But look here, what she said, according to this story in the Gleaner this morning, I think, right? No, it's in the Observer.
Yes.
Right? Which paper is it?
Well, let me hear what
it looks like the Gleaner. The cash strap? No, I beg your pardon, I'm looking at the wrong paper. This is the Observer.
This is in response to what I can
This is the Observer. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller said yesterday that the $31 million donation from Dutch company Trafigura Bahia to the People's National Party resulted from an agreement between the Dutch firm and CCOC,
yes,
Colin Campbell, our candidate association. No, I don't follow that.
Well, you see, Mutty, it's obvious, and in fact, I think she tried to explain that this was the device by which the political donation was made to the PNP. In essence, they're not denying that they were misleading the authorities by putting in place some device whereby the money could be donated to the People's National Party. And I think she admitted as much, because if you look at the Gleaner story, it says to the effect that there was no consultancy, and the donation was a donation to the People's National Party.
She said that?
Yes, she said the money was a donation to the People's National Party.
But she said
so before in Parliament.
But she's saying two different things then.
Right, because, well, you see, what you read in the Observer was in response to the direct question she read that. But later on, when she was asked further questions, she admitted, at least on 2 occasions, that it was a donation to the People's National Party.
So what is the truth?
Well,
is it a donation to the People's National Party? Or is it a payment in respect of some service that this bank account has agreed to provide for them?
well, Monty, isn't
and
that...
and what is the nature of that service?
All of these questions, Monty, all of these questions you're now asking me were put in one form or another on at least 2 or 5 occasions to the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And she would not come straight with an answer. As far as she's concerned, this is something that is connected to campaign financing. I don't know how it's... and you know, Marty, it has nothing to do with campaign financing, this money, because we know that this money was donated before the PNP conference.
Yes.
And immediately when the story broke up at the PNP conference, they could not find the money. So the circumstantial evidence is that this money was used for the PNP conference. And you recall, Mutty.
Was it?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind, Mutty.
But hold on a bit. Hold on a moment. 2 checks were drawn on that account.
To SW Services. To SW Services.
SW Services.
Yes.
Which is in the Prime Minister's constituency.
Well, we don't know.
We don't?
No, SW could be Southwest St. Andrew. But we can't say that SW Services is necessarily in the Prime Minister's constituency.
So you don't know what SW Services is?
Well, we can only presume that it stands for Southwest something.
But another check, as I understand it, was drawn in the name of Mr. Colin Campbell.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So he collected $400 and something thousand dollars.
That's right.
Right?
And
from this amount.
And on the check it was changed into cash. The check was changed
into cash.
Because I saw the back of the check, Marty. Or the photocopy of the back of the check.
Yes.
And it was shown that the check was changed into cash. So many $100,000 in $1,000 bills and $500 bills. So that, you know that check was changed into cash. It wasn't used to pay any particular bill. Cash came into the hands of whoever changed the check drawn to Colin Campbell. Now, the point, Mutty, I'm saying is, remember immediately after it broke, the story broke, that the party said they would return the money. And later on, the reason that Paul Berg gave why the money had not been returned is that they could not find the money.
Yes.
They had to have fundraising efforts to find the money. So the natural presumption is that it was spent by then.
Yes.
And the question arises, what was it spent on? And I'm saying circumstantial evidence suggests that it was spent on the party conference, because it was received just before the party conference. And by a couple of weeks after the party conference, there was no money.
But look here, could that party conference, big as it was, have cost $40 million?
I have no doubt, Martin, that it probably did. And the reason why, because, in fact, it created a lot of conflicts in many communities, including in one particular community in my constituency, where they were fighting over money. The distribution of money.
Is that so?
Right. In essence, people felt that, more money was given to the different corners to bring them out to the conference, and it wasn't properly shared. Various sums were given to delegates and supporters over those 3 days in a month to stay in Kingston or to take buses from the various parts of the Jamaica. And some delegates, I understand, were paid minimum of $5,000 to come. That was what they got. And it's possible, Marty, my experience even as a constituency representative in close to Kingston, it does cost to bring delegates and supporters to the national arena.
So, Mr.
So when in fact they were talking about the conference was financed by the small man, and they had this farce in the arena, collecting $10 and $15 from people around the arena, including one big amount of $3 million from one of the PNP candidates. It was all a farce, because in my view they had money to finance that conference.
But given the inability of the Prime Minister to give convincing answers to questions that, there is every reason to ask.
Yes.
Am I to understand that Mr. Carl Samuda is planning to bring a censure motion to Parliament? May I ask you to hold on for a moment? Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you, sir.
Yes, Mutty.
Uh-huh.
You asked whether a censure motion should be put against the Prime Minister. I mean, it would be unusual, because, but may I say, Mutty, that CVM, TVJ, or any other station has a duty to show the Jamaican people the full extent of that question and answer yesterday.
Yes.
Because, the Jamaican people should ask themselves the question whether or not the answers provided by the Prime Minister to direct questions were acceptable. Because, Mutty, it seemed to me that when you ask the Prime Minister, how do we know the money was returned? Her response was, from we say it has been returned and Trafigura say they have received it, that is what the Jamaican people want to hear.
But that is nonsense, because
well, that's what she said.
I mean, Trafigura made a donation, they are telling us, to the People's National Party.
No. Trafigura said that they
entered into a commercial
agreement.
Trafigura said it was a commercial agreement.
Commercial agreement. They never
and
said
the People's National Party is turning to say that now, isn't it?
Right.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the People's National Party is saying it is a donation.
Uh-huh.
Trafigura maintained from the beginning, and they have not changed their position, that it was a commercial agreement.
Uh-huh.
Now, we know that 466,000 euros were sent, which was equivalent at the time to about 39 million.
Yes.
We asked the Prime Minister how much was received, how much was returned. She admitted that 31 million Jamaican was returned, and then later we asked what was received. She said what was returned was what was received. No, that doesn't make sense, Martin. That doesn't make sense.
Uh-huh.
And then she was asked, how was the money returned? Is it in euro, US dollars, pounds, brown paper? She even looked at me and said, we're talking about brown paper bag. It's about time we get on with campaign financing. And we kept saying this is a separate issue. Give us some straight answer. Let the Jamaican people be satisfied that we can bring closure to this matter.
Yes.
Now, we cannot bring closure to this matter, Mutty, with so many questions remaining unanswered.
That is quite true.
And I think the Jamaican people are really fed up with the con artist misleading representation coming from representatives of this government.
Chuck, not the least of the questions remaining to be answered is, where did that money come from?
Exactly.
No. My understanding is that the Nigerian government is selling oil to Jamaica on concessionary terms.
Yes.
Now, what does that concessionary term involve? A concession of 12 cents per barrel?
Then it wouldn't make sense, Mutty.
Eh?
Would it make sense?
It doesn't seem so to me.
But
that is what Jamaica has been receiving.
Well, Mutty, I have no doubt that if Nigeria has given us a concession of, say, $5, for example,
yes,
then we can't expect to get $5.
Well,
but 12 cents, Mutty,
but hold on.
Utterly ridiculous.
Hold on a moment, Mr. Chuck. Trafigura is buying oil from Nigeria at regular prices, right? Without concession. Selling that oil on the world market and making considerable profits out of it.
Quite.
Am I right?
Quite.
Okay. So if Jamaica is getting $5. He's buying oil at $5, right?
Less.
$5 less. And sold that oil to Trafigura with a 12-cent concession per barrel, right? That
no, there's
Trafigura would be doing quite well out of that.
There's no doubt about that, Mutty. And by the way, I heard on the radio once Bob Woolmer saying that the opposition and others were trying to say that this money was meant for Jamaica and it got diverted to the PNP. I don't recall the opposition or you or anyone saying so, Mutty. We have never said so. What we have said is that we need clarity as to what this money was meant for.
Yes.
Was it a commercial agreement or was it a donation to the PNP?
Yes.
Because we have two diverse opinions coming from both parties. And what you're saying, Mutty, is that there's no doubt that it is possible, and I put it no higher than that money that Trafigura is making under this deal, rather than coming to the Jamaican people.
Thank you.
I put it no higher than
It's
that.
It's going to the PNP.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that we have ever alleged that.
No, but but it is a question that needs to be asked and answered.
Exactly, Mutty. In other words, Trafigura is basically, I'm putting it, Mutty, no higher than possible.
Yes.
Diverting money that should come to the Jamaican people.
Yes.
To the coffers of the PNP.
Yes, and the outstanding question is, if Nigeria we need to know what is the concessionary price at which Nigeria was selling.
And I go further
right?
to Mutty. I go further to and say, is this the first donation or agreement, agreement? Has there been any before?
Precisely.
Because
precisely.
It is just by chance
that we happen to find out about this one. Yes.
How do we know that over the past 10 or 15 years or whatever period,
yes,
that money has not been used by this company to assist the People's National Party in purchasing the last 2 or 3 elections?
Or it may not be. It may not be just that.
Yes.
It may be even more than that.
Well, Mutty, I make no such imputation.
No. The question is, sir,
yes.
If, let us say that the concession that Nigeria is giving us is $5 a barrel.
Yes.
Right? I think I saw that somewhere.
Yes.
Right? We, in fact, are getting 12 cents per barrel. Where is the difference?
Don't you remember,
between $5 and 12 cents?
Don't you recall that Good Works is getting a portion?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes. Yes, but they're getting some cents per barrel too.
The only reason why Good Works is getting it is that they were the ones who brought Trafigura into the picture to purchase the oil from Nigeria.
Yes, but if they brought Trafigura into the picture,
why are they getting it?
Right? And they are to get a commission for that.
Yes.
Then Trafigura must pay them that, not Jamaica.
Exactly.
Right?
No, but you see, there's so many problems, you see, Mutty. And, the leader of the opposition pointed that out in his news conference. He said, people kept saying, why are you watching ABC? You need to watch that Nigerian oil deal.
Yes.
And, it just somebody pushed something underneath his door where we were able to see just the surface of what could be nothing but scandal and corruption of this government with Trafigura.
Absolutely.
And it is something that the government needs to explain to the people of the country before we can bring closure to this
and
matter.
The inability of the government, sir, to answer questions, right?
Yeah.
Raises even greater suspicions.
Well, Mutty, it is and I'm saying, and I hope that the full question and answer can be shown in one of the TV stations so that the Jamaican people can pass judgment. One other thing came up yesterday, Mutty, if you don't mind me saying.
Yes.
The Venezuelan MOU. What is it, Mutty? You remember? The people of Jamaica are being taken for a ride, and are being hoodwinked by public relations and announcements. You have a situation, Mutty, and Clive Mullins must have congratulated for pointing out and asking the relevant questions of Philip Paulwell. I mean, as far as we understand, Mutty, or listening to the questions and answers, this deal has no legal basis.
Yes.
Because, Mutty, we don't know what price it is going to be sold at. We don't know the amount. And in fact, what we understand is that Venezuela will sell us the excess natural gas after they use up and sell what they have agreed to sell elsewhere.
But we are also hearing, Mr. Chuck, that Venezuela does not have the means of transforming natural gas into LNG.
That is correct, Mutty.
Right.
And further, if they build a facility, it will take at least 3 years. And
Yes.
we are asking Jamalco to put in place a factory to start operating in 2009.
Yes.
Now, Jamalco is saying that they are not prepared to invest, the billions of dollars, which have been announced at least half a dozen times by different leaders and officers of the government. This major expansion in Clarendon, Mutty, that they're not prepared to put in their money until they have a steady, sustainable, reliable source of supply.
Yes.
And Trinidad was being touted. Do you recall the former Prime Minister saying that this is a sealed deal?
Yes.
All that was left is for the pricing, and the first
Yes,
case
yes.
before the CCJ
Yes.
will be to decide the price of the oil.
Yes, indeed.
The gas.
Well, if
And
hold on just a moment for me, sir. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chuck. Tell me something, sir.
Yes.
The government of Jamaica has been seeking to, apparently, to give the impression that it had a deal with a legal deal
With the Trinidadians.
with the Trinidadians, and that the Trinidadians have reneged on this deal.
Yes.
Now, if that is so,
Yes.
why does it not take the matter to the Caribbean Court?
Exactly, Mutty.
Eh?
Exactly. Because a lot of money and effort have been spent on that deal.
Yes.
And if the present MOU with Venezuela is similar, are we going to be able to sue somebody?
Well,
If Jamal...
I don't know. I don't know, but it would seem to me that the Trinidadians are, what the Jamaican government is saying, what
Yes.
Jamaica is saying,
Yes.
is correct. That the Trinidadians are,
I've reneged on a deal.
and they stand to find themselves paying some very heavy damages.
Exactly. Because certainly Jamaica spent a lot of money
Yes.
relying on this MOU, and are being asked to spend even more money on another MOU.
Yes.
And if
But I don't really understand why the government is going after these LNG arrangements.
well, to be fair,
because,
the need Jamaica can only, as I understand it, engage in the expansion if they can get LNG at a sort of good price,
Yes.
And that's my understanding. So that is why they're trying to facilitate the Jamaica expansion by getting
Yes, but Mr.
these
Chuck.
MOUs.
Mr. Chuck, we have it on the authority of Mr. Paulwell that Jamaica has deposits of petroleum, substantial deposits.
In fact,
The only problem is that they haven't located it.
and based on his information,
Yes.
we will have that within 3 years.
Absolutely.
So we don't need the MOU with Venezuela.
Well, I tell you something, when the people of Jamaica look forward to the future, you people don't have a chance, sir. When they look forward to the future and how absolutely wonderful things are going to be,
Yes.
with all that oil flowing.
which we have not yet found the fields.
But we haven't found the oil yet.
But
we know it is there.
The fields
It's only
are
a question of
overladen with
locating it. Right.
oil, which we have not yet found. Motive, 3 very quick points before I allow your other callers.
Yes.
The crime figures you know, we have not heard any crime figures in recent times.
Yes, well, Cricket World Cup.
Right. My understanding, you know, is that last week it was close to 30.
Oh my gosh.
When cricket was going on.
Yes.
And in fact, it is probably running now at the same rate as 2005, when we had, you know, the record number of murders, 1671. In other words, last year, 2006, there was a 20% drop, which was commendable. And we were hoping it would go down.
Well,
but since the beginning of this year, Monty, we are back up to close to 20% over 2006, which is, you know, putting it back into the category of 2005. So, you know, we just hope that the measures that were used in 2006 can be tried again to keep the, you know, the crime figures down, the murders down at least.
But you know, Mr. Chuck, we read on this program yesterday an email that somebody sent us of an AP story about the murders and things in Jamaica. One doesn't get the impression, you know, that this country is going to get any long-term benefits from the
well, you mean the Cricket World Cup?
Cricket World Cup.
And what is more, Mutty? You have heard figures of 110 or whatever figure being bandied about as the cost of the World Cup?
Yes.
I am willing to bet you, Mutty, that before it is finished, the cost is probably in excess of $10 billion. Maybe in excess of $125 million US.
Well, I hear there are some overruns at Sabina Park.
Well, you know
Sabina Park.
Sabina. No, you know, Mutty, yesterday we dealt extensively.
Mr. Alan Archer's pronunciation.
Yesterday we dealt extensively with, again, the PAC with overruns. It seems to me, Mutty, that when government money is being spent, especially by the Urban Development Corporation, that they have an open check to spend.
Yes.
And this to my mind, is exactly what happened down at Sanders' White House. Nobody seems to be concerned about the overrun. They had to finish a project and they needed money, so spend it. And we have a problem, Mutty, in a country where nobody has any rein and expenditure. Once a thing has to be done, just do it. Don't worry about the money.
But if nobody has any rein on expenditure, Mr. Chuck, is that what happens? Is that what gives rise to the overruns?
There's no doubt about that, Mutty.
Oh?
There's no doubt in my mind that because people were not looking at the amount being spent.
Oh.
Because, you know, yesterday, when you asked Mr. Sabaki, you had a $40 million contract. Were you not concerned that, you know, you have got over the 40 million? He says, no, I get written instructions. So once I get written approvals, I just do the work and collect my money. And you can't blame Mr. Sabaki from Astro Money.
No, no, of course not.
And finally, Monty, before you know, I go. You know, the Electoral Commission has been advertising that at the end of this month is the final date for this period of enumeration. It is likely, Monty, that the election will be called and the list that will be prepared at the end of this month. And Monty, we have at least 300,000 Jamaicans, many of them listening to us now, who have just totally abandoned the electoral process for one reason or another. Monty, these people, in my view, are being grossly negligent in not getting enumerated and getting on the voters list. And when you get a chance, Monty, over the next week or two, please urge them, Jamaican citizens, to get on the voters list, because if you don't have a vote, you don't have a right to really say much in your country.
Well, you know, so if they don't exercise their franchise, they will live with the consequences of it.
Absolutely, Monty.
Yes, yes.
All the best to you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Hi. Hello, sir. How are you?
Boy, I'm confused.
Eh?
I'm confused, Mr. Perkins.
Oh, why?
I see signs of schizophrenic behavior, schizoid behavior in our government. Because, you know, that great Jamaican man there, in my estimation, the greatest Jamaican, Marcus Garvey, our first national hero, he was tried and sent to prison in the United States.
Yes.
And our dear Prime Minister is seeking to get a pardon because we believe that he was wrongly convicted.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Perkins, how could that be that we say we have no confidence in that system that convicted our national hero, and at the same time our Minister of Justice is gladly sending Jamaicans to be tried under that same system?
Well.
Hello?
Well, we now have a treaty with the United States.
Yeah.
Requiring us to send persons there for trial.
Yes, but a Minister of Justice is the person who is supposed to protect the interests of the Jamaican people.
Well,
he does not have his first duties to the Jamaican people,
yes,
not to the United States government. Right?
And my understanding is, sir, that he has a power to determine. I mean, it doesn't necessarily go by the judgment of the court.
Exactly.
It is ultimately a political decision whether the men are or are not to be sent.
And I am wondering, really, we had somebody call him an intellectual flyweight or featherweight, but I'm wondering if it's really responsible enough to be given such a job, because I heard him criticizing esteemed Queen's Counsel Frank Phipps, saying that it is his fault because he should have called him on the phone. Is this government run like a patty
Well,
shop?
I don't know. I also heard him say that the lawyers could have given notice in the court. Right?
My God, is this a responsible lawyer?
The lawyers would have then not been consulted. They would have come out and made some statement, whatever it was.
Yes.
Whatever it is that he expected them to make.
Yes.
Because they had no further opportunity for
No, it was a Friday,
Right.
2:30.
But hold on. There was not an appeal.
Yes.
Right? What there was a case that was before the Privy Council.
Yes.
Right? To which reference was made, as I understand it, in the appeal hearing.
Yeah, and is it the minister seized up those facts? Is it the minister seized up those facts?
Well, I should have expected him to be.
Exactly.
There's a case before the Privy Council bearing on the constitutionality of the extradition law.
And the minister must have been aware of that.
Well.
So how could he have gladly...
what I don't understand is why he would have been in... Well, maybe what happened is that, as I said yesterday, Mr. Bush, they probably thought that Mr. Bush would have figured that, any further delay in sending the men would have implied that we had weapons of mass destruction down here.
But Mr. Perkins, hasn't it been proved that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq?
Well, it can't be proven that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. You can't prove a negative.
A negative, no. They did not find any.
But there was no evidence of weapons of mass destruction being in Iraq.
Exactly.
Yes.
And with this Trafigura affair, with all the brouhaha around it, don't you think it's to call on the Director of Public Prosecutions to investigate this matter, Mr. Perkins?
Well,
I think if the Dutch police is seeking to investigate it.
Well, they're investigating one aspect of
it. But it is worse in Jamaica. One person said that...
It needs to be... I'm not sure that I would go against you, sir. Because there is an issue.
Yes.
What is the concession that the Nigerians are giving to Jamaica for the purchase of Nigerian crude? Right?
Yes. And how can a minister of government, right, that's a direct conflict of interest.
Well,
how can you be a minister?
But hold on, we're not coming to that yet. That is one issue.
Yes.
Right? Hold on just a minute. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online.
Yes, Mr. Perkins. I think the DPP should have a look in this matter, because the circumstances surround it. We're not certain. Is it a contribution? Is a minister of government accepting money to the private work for something that he has an interest in? The government has an interest in.
Yes.
How can that be?
I don't follow that.
And then Mr. Paulwell. How can people believing in him about they're going to get gas? What has happened to his bulb program? It's much ballyhooed bulbs.
You mean the Cuban
Yes. Can he shed any light on the matter?
I don't know.
I
really don't know, sir.
Fool. You know what I mean? This man Paulwell, I believe in the history of governments from democracy was instituted. I've never seen his like.
Well,
traffic. When was it? The first one he did was net serve. Eh?
Oh, net serve. Yes.
Oh, him have more lives than a cat. And tell any self-respecting government, how could they hold that man to their bosom? Eh?
Well,
there's so many things about his ministries.
Well, he's now telling us that we have oil.
Yes, he must be swimming in it.
Eh?
He must be swimming in it. I tell you, no much we have to take our country, boys.
Well, I don't know. We are in a lot of trouble.
And then, Mutty, I must again call for no extension to the sojourn of our Chief Justice here. I think it would be morally wrong and an insult to the other judges in the system, to the crop of lawyers we have in this country who are quite capable, and I'm certain would do an equally good job and really nice.
An equally good job?
Much better job. They can't be. I am certain you have so many lawyers here, Mutty, in the private bar, in the judges of the Supreme Court, that can rise to that occasion, Mutty, and I believe it would be the interest of everybody in Jamaica to have somebody new as Chief Justice. I don't see any reason. And why is it? In whose interest are they trying to keep on this gentleman as Chief Justice, Mutty?
Well, I don't know, sir.
Anyway, Mutty, I cannot understand our Minister of Justice. You know, that gentleman, what was his name there, who died so tragically? Boy, that was one of the most brilliant statements he ever made about our current Minister of Justice. Because the haste in which he dispatched these gentlemen back to the United States, you know, I don't know. And then he said that it is the lawyer's fault.
Yes,
there's
something.
Do you have a sense of responsibility that you are there to protect the interests of the Jamaican people?
Yes.
Do you know, was it to certain knowledge that there was an appeal to the Privy Council of a final court of appeal, that this law under which he's acted so quickly is unconstitutional?
Yes.
Isn't he aware of that fact? Then having those facts in his possession, how could he have done what he did?
I don't know, sir. I really don't know.
All right, but thank you. Good.
All right, all the best to you. Look here, I see that Canon Hugh Smythe has died. I knew him a long, long time ago. He seems to... The impression that I'm getting is that his funeral has already been held. I didn't know about it. Anyway, condolences to his family. Hello? 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 What's going on? Hello? Hello? No? Let's try another line. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning to you.
Good morning. Who am I speaking to, please?
Fella called Perkins.
I'm on a cellular line. I'm not on a long line.
You're not on a long line?
No.
You're on a short line?
Hmm?
You're on a short line?
Repeat.
No, it's all right. Nonsense. What you go ahead, say what you have to say. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead and say what you have to say.
Okay, we are having some problem in Westchester Division.
Westchester Division.
Yes, you know about Natalie Campbell that has been resigned.
Natalie Campbell.
Red Wickets, the JLP councillor.
Oh, yes.
And she has been resigned. There's some...
Hold on. Natalie Campbell Rodriguez.
Red Wickets, yeah.
JLP councillor in Westchester Division.
John.
Which council is this?
This is Portmore Garden.
Oh, yes.
And you have the JLP caretaker councillor is Mr. Raymond Jack now.
Uh-huh.
There's some work going on in the division, and you know that JLP is a JLP stronghold in the Westchester Division.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. What Mr. George Lee is doing right now, work is going on, and he's not notifying anybody, and everybody in the division is quarreling, you know, because work is going on now, and it's the PNP working and in the division. And it is causing a problem. You know, say he does not notify Mr. Raymond Jack, that is JLP caretaker, you know.
So the Labour Party people are not getting any work?
No, just him alone. And his set of people.
I see. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do about this. But this is not uncommon in our politics, is it?
I don't know, you know. Because he's a person who said to Mr. Jack, when allocation come up, he will notify Mr. Jack and tell him that he will help him with any situation, or when work come up, he will give him something, because remember that he is not the councillor, you know.
I see.
He's just a JLP caretaker councillor for the time being.
Well, you know, I suppose Mr. Jack could take the matter up. Okay?
Okay.
Talk to him about it.
Alright.
Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning, Mr.
Good morning to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Let me just touch a little bit on the Trafigura. That's not really my problem, but I think the PNP, the government, is taking us Jamaicans for a ride.
And would you speak up for me?
The government is taking us Jamaicans for a ride. They're taking us for a set of fools.
You think so?
Yes, because every time they come, it's something different, and they sound so stupid, like we don't have any sense. But it's all right. Let them carry on. My real issue now is cable and wireless.
Yes.
They keep sending quite a few people that I know, and even myself. We're getting our phone bill with this thing about flat rate, $900 for line-to-line flat rate, which we did not make an agreement with cable and wireless for unlimited fixed-to-fixed flat rate. Sorry. And they said they have telemarketers who are calling and saying they can give you this rate, and you say yes. I am not at home more than maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week. I'm alone at home. Nobody use my phone to answer it, to give them permission.
Your voice is gone on me again. You said you're alone at home.
Right. So
when you say that, nobody
else use the phone.
Lives in the house.
Right. To say, well, they answer the phone and give permission. But it happened to me, it happened to a relative of mine, it happened to friends of mine. They keep getting a bill with this unlimited fixed-to-fixed flat rate, which you did not give permission. And they keep putting it on your bill. And when you call it, they're telling you all kind of stupidness.
Hold on just a moment for me. Hey, thank you very much. We're back with you.
Yes, sir. So I hope someone at Cable and Wireless is listening, and they will stop doing that, because they are padding your bills. Well,
just write to them. Just write to them and tell them that you haven't agreed to any such thing.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, then.
And you... Okay. Yes. Okay? Hello? Hello? Oh, hell. What's going on? Next line. Hello? Hello? What is happening? They've deserted us. Hello? What is happening? Hello? What is happening? Why doesn't he answer? Hello? Hello? No, man, I'm told that there is somebody on the line, but we're not getting any response. Hello?
Hello?
What is happening, sir?
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you.
Okay, I'm having a problem that I want to discuss in regards to Manchester High School.
Regard to?
Manchester High School.
Yes.
Okay. I have a family member that goes to the school. Apparently about 2 weeks ago, there is an event that happened at the school in regards to two fourth former students. There was a fourth former student, which is a girl, that was having oral sex with another student that is at the school on school premises.
I beg your pardon?
I am saying that there was an incident that happened at the school, which there was a fourth former girl that was doing oral sex to a fourth former guy at the school premises. There were other students that was present at the moment that videoed it, right, and have it on their phone.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm very serious, sir. Right. They actually was passing it on to other students and so forth, by Bluetooth on their phones and so forth. Apparently, my cousin might have got it on his phone, right, and so forth. Okay, no, students are interested in those things. If it's
your cousin may have got it on his phone?
He received it from a friend on his phone, right?
Or it can be transferred from one phone to another?
Yes, by Bluetooth, if they have that type of phone, with that device and so forth. So, it was brought, he wasn't in the act. He wasn't nowhere where the act was happening. He just received it on his phone, right? And almost half of the school have received it on his phone. People in Mandeville have received it on their phone and so forth. So, it's exposed like that, just by phone, sending around.
But this country is rotting, sir.
Yeah, it is. And I believe that, I wonder if school like that don't educate their kids. I mean, fourth former, they should be sitting down, trying to focus on their safety and things like that. So I wonder if these schools do not educate children in regards to these things, expose them to, have sexual education in regards to them understand these things and so forth. However, the problem that I'm having, it was brought up to the board and the principal, right? And they were taking some action in regards to the student that was involved in the act. So because my cousin had it on his phone, he took his phone to school, and a fellow classmate asked to see it. He showed the classmate and so forth, and the principal was aware of it, that he had it on his phone. He was suspended for 5 days for having the video on his phone and taking his phone to school. Okay? Right, now after that, yesterday afternoon he was asked to come to a board meeting and so forth and everything, right? When he went to the board meeting and so forth, right, they said that the board of the school asked his parents, right, to do a withdrawal letter to withdraw him from the school and for them to find a different school for him. I'm wondering, do they have the authority to do that whatsoever, since he was not involved in the act? He was nowhere where the act was taking place.
Well, but he was involved. He had it on his phone.
Yes,
and had it showing to other students.
Yes, but I'm saying that he was not there and so forth. So that is why I'm asking.
Yes, sir, but he was involved in the affair, in that he had it on his phone.
So because I mean, other students, almost half of the school have it and so forth.
Well, if half of the school have it, and the decision is to have them withdraw, those who were involved in it, who have it on their phones, then maybe
they asked the parents to withdraw the person that was involved in the act.
Yes.
right, and so forth. But I'm saying that since my cousin was not involved in the act and so forth.
Yes, but the point is this, right? That this is an episode of nastiness. And all the children that were involved in it, whether at the scene where this was being done, or by having it on their phones and going around showing it to others and so on, right? I mean, they are all involved.
Well, I mean,
and it seems to me, so that one of the things that is happening is that we are forsaking discipline in this country. Because we don't understand that, if people, youngsters behave like that, and firm action is not taken, then they're going to continue behaving like that and behaving worse, and all kinds of terrible things are going to happen.
Yeah, but as a school like this, I mean, they don't even offer any counseling to look at it as a spiritual aspect, right? Not even any counseling in regards to it.
I'm not hearing you at all.
I'm saying that to look at it as a spiritual aspect.
As a what?
As a spiritual aspect.
Right? Spiritual access?
Yeah, aspect. I'm saying these are 15-year-old and 16-year-old, right? To just say you're going to get rid of them. You're not even counseling.
Well, I tell you something. You see, one of the things that it seems to me is wrong is that one gets the impression that things like this would not be happening if children had been brought up with a firm sense of discipline, right? And if they knew, when I was a youngster in school, I don't think if we had been involved in something like this, there was only one thing that would result, and that is expulsion, right? And you knew that was so, and you didn't do things like that, right? But what is happening nowadays is that, children behave like this, and then the thing to do is to have counseling, right? There needs to be a firm sense of discipline in the school. There are certain things that are not done. Right? But we have lost all sense of that. We do anything. And when we do those things, we are counseled. And we do something again and we are counseled. I think it's unfortunate to allow this kind of situation to develop. That's what is hurting the causing a lot of trouble. But there has to be some strong discipline. And children have to grow up knowing that there are certain things that are just not done.
Yes, but in the aspect, I mean, it's not like the parents would be around them.
I beg your pardon?
I'm saying that it's not like the parents will be around them 24/7, 44/8.
I know that.
Of their time, they're at school. You
yes.
understand? And then, some of the time you wonder what is happening at school, right? Is there a system that is enforced, right, to educate, our children in regards to sex? And
but part of the process, part of what education is about, is teaching children, making children understand right and wrong ways of behaving. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, well. And it's, the home has its role, but so has the school. And what do you do when you get a whole lot of children behaving in this sort of way?
That would be chaos.
Eh?
That would be chaos.
Well.
Okay then, sir. That was just my view, Mr.
Yes.
Perkins.
Well, I don't know, sir, but it seems to me that some very strong action needs to be taken. Right? And children must understand that if they want to go through school and if they want to do well in life, there are certain things, patterns of behavior that they have to forswear.
That's
right?
True. But some of the time, even regarding to the principal, right, of Manchester High School, I wonder where they get him from. I wonder how does he get that position? I mean, the gentleman don't even know how to speak to somebody, right, in a decent, right, and profound way.
I beg your pardon?
I said the principal, in regards to even the principal of the school, I wonder how did he get that position to become a principal of Manchester High School?
Why?
Because the gentleman don't have no manners whatsoever. He cannot hold a decent conversation.
Well, that is your judgment, sir, and other people may have come to other conclusions. Right?
I mean, that is my judgment in regards to how we speak to people.
Well, that is your judgment, but
Mr. Perkins, if you have a conversation, right, some of the time I have to talk and you have to talk and one have to listen.
Yes.
Right, that's
anyway,
our conversation.
Anyway,
right?
you seem to have a strong prejudice against the principal.
No,
anyway, thank you very much. All the best to you. Hello. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm awfully sorry. It's time now for the news. We'll be back here in about 20 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. And we go directly to the telephones. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is you remember the gentleman that talked to you, the blind man?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to talk to you, but I don't want to talk to you private after the year, yeah?
After
okay,
the year.
I can't finish. We can't get your number.
Okay, hold on and I'll have somebody take it from you. Okay, hello? What in heaven's name is going on? Oh, Lord, pour us. Okay, hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Good afternoon to you, Mom.
Good afternoon.
Uh-huh.
I heard the caller who spoke about Marcus Garvey. I
yes.
have the greatest respect for the memory of Marcus Garvey.
Uh-huh.
But I guess why he got himself into trouble was this.
Why what?
Why he got himself into trouble with them. He was soliciting funds through the mail.
Yes, I know.
Just in the support of the Black Star Line ship
yes.
to take back Afro-Americans to Africa.
Uh-huh.
But Mr. Perkins, he had no firm commitment from any African country to take the people.
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Perkins, suppose some Oriental people should descend on your community and keep knocking at gates and say, well, we are descendants of the Arawaks and Caribs. Our ancestors used to live here and we have come. Would you all take us into your homes?
Uh-huh.
And then I don't think the community will take in those people. They will chase them away.
Uh-huh.
Don't you think?
Very likely.
Huh?
Very likely, I suppose so.
Yes.
But I think that in addition to that, the Africans, a lot of Africans that a number of Africans that I have met tell me that the view of Caribbean blacks, the descendants of slaves, that current modern day Africans have is a rather disparaged one.
Yes.
Right?
I'm not hearing you very well.
Yes, they look upon us as children of slaves, you know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen now. I have met African students
yes.
at Florida State University. And believe you me, they are very hostile to the Caribbean people.
Yes, yes.
They say that they want to come there to steal their lands.
Uh-huh.
And they call them cotton piece, they call them cane piece slaves.
Yes.
And so forth.
Yes.
Especially the Nigerians, you know.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, we need to sort out the education system in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
History. Listen, it is the Africans who first offered the Europeans their prisoners of war, as they call them, and introduced slavery. The Africans have carried on slavery for...
Well, I don't know that they introduced slavery. Slavery has long existed among mankind.
First of all, the Gold Coast in West Africa, call it Ghana now.
Yes.
The Portuguese went there and they tried to trade with them, and they said, we have no money, but we have prisoners of war. Would you accept them in exchange for your goods? And the Portuguese realized that the Spaniards in the Americas and the Caribbean needed workers on the cane plantation. And they said, yes, we'll take them.
I haven't heard that exact version before, but...
What's that, please?
I say I've not heard that exact version of how it went before.
Yes, and when the British heard about it, you know, they like to get in on things. When the British heard about it, that they were exchanging their prisoners of war for goods, they got in on it. And it was the Africans who took the people on board the ship, carried them on their shoulders, and
I know that a lot of that happened. Yes.
Yes, so that they listen to me. It is slavery is a terrible thing. But it is not just the Europeans who were to blame. The Africans too.
Yes.
They were the ones.
But I think we have to get beyond that, you know. We are now.
Today we are
celebrating. We are now in 2007, right? And it seems to me that we should be looking towards a future for ourselves.
Yes.
Right? And we ought to recognize that we have the ability to create that future.
Yes.
And get on with it.
Yes. But
right?
Yes, I know.
But we're not doing that.
We're
looking back
forward
to slavery, and we're making all kinds of excuses for ourselves.
We shouldn't be looking backwards, but I think the Rastafarians would like to go there and settle. And so they approached the emperor, you know. When he came out here, he was so frightened at their behavior that he wouldn't even come out of the plane. And so
yes,
he
I remember that.
Land.
I don't think he was able to come out. Oh, hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins, although the slaves didn't come from Ethiopia, the emperor gave them land there, and they went and they were disenchanted because they said the land was infertile. But I think while the Rastafarians cling to the Ethiopian thing was from the biblical point of view that the emperor was a direct descendant.
I think it came out of the
of the line of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
No, I think it came out of the Second World War. And the Italian invasion of Abyssinia.
The Africans themselves are not very friendly towards Jamaicans. So I don't know why the Jamaicans should be clinging to the idea. And, you know, they encourage slavery because the black people, the white people didn't go in there and capture the people, you know.
Well, yes, I gather that
but it was wrong. It was wrong for them to accept the people in exchange for the goods.
Well,
but they didn't go into the jungle and capture the people and take them on board the ship. It is the Africans who did that.
Yeah.
And until now, the Africans, especially
I am not sure that they didn't later on do that, but anyway, whatever. The Africans were involved in it, yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Perkins.
Okay, Mom. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. I have a couple topics that I want to just run by you.
You have a what?
I have a couple topics that I want to discuss.
Yes.
Mr. Perkins, one of this, it's not really important. I just want to say, the people that broadcast in the World Cup cricket and feeding it back to the satellite for international viewers, I wish they would show a little more of the island in between when they
they would what?
Show a little more of the island.
Would you speak more directly into the phone?
They would show a little more, you know, of Jamaica. Like when in between when they break, it would also help to let the viewers like I myself here seen. And I know it's in Jamaica, but you know they would show a little.
I don't think that is what they're about, sir.
Well,
they're broadcasting cricket match.
All right, I'll move on quickly.
Yeah.
I heard that from a local source that 2 months after the World Cup, it's gonna be election.
2 months after World Cup.
Yes.
Oh. One is hearing all sorts of stories out there, yes.
Okay. Mr. Perkins, is it possible to get the Prime Minister under your program?
Oh, I'd love to have her.
I would like to, people, I don't know if I would get the opportunity of asking her a few questions.
Uh-huh.
Like the future she have into the country.
Like the what?
She plan. The future of Jamaica, if the people should ever choose to put them back in power, sir.
Uh-huh.
I really, Mr. Perkins, you think the people of Jamaica are thinking anywhere in, are thinking about putting back the People's National Party in power, sir?
Well, I'm sure that there are people who are thinking of doing it.
You think the rate is, the numbers are against them and more in favor of the GLP party?
I don't know, sir. I don't know.
Okay. So what do you honestly think, Mr. Perkins, if you don't mind I ask you?
What do I honestly think about what?
About their winning back this next term.
Well, I tell you something, sir. We live in a democracy. Yeah. If that is what the majority of the people of Jamaica want, that is what they must have.
I have one more thing to say.
And they will live with the consequences of it, I suppose.
Yeah. You know, I was told the other day there was a fire, and they called the fire brigade truck, and it was a sewer truck with sewer mess they had to use and out the fire.
It was a what kind of truck?
They had to use a sewer truck because the fire brigade took so long, the sewer truck that removed the sewer. You know, the one.
I am not quite sure that is how it went, sir.
I know the people house was on fire.
I think that you're talking about the fire at the gas station at Constant Spring.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, it just happened that that truck was at the time next door to the gas station.
Well, I was told by somebody that it took the fire truck so long because they couldn't get the fire truck started.
I don't know. It was a fire in a gas station.
Yes.
Right? And fires in gas.
I was told it took them like 20 minutes after they made the call for the fire truck to get there.
Yes.
And apparently they couldn't get the fire truck started.
I don't know. But the fact is that the other truck, was just next door, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so
all right. I thought it was going by, as what I heard.
No, it was there.
But, you know, Mr. Perkins, I wish the best for Jamaica, and I hope that the average Jamaican, who the working people, and people like yourself who fight every day to see your country better, I hope the people make a choice and for what is best. Because 16 and a half years now, sir, is that the time that they...
No, they have been there for over 18 years now.
18 years?
Uh-huh.
Why, Mr. Perkins, that's really a shame. That's like if I was any member of the People's National Party, when I'm going out on the road, sir, I would tie a trash bag over my head and just put the tool of the holes through it.
Huh?
And why, sir?
Uh-huh.
For the embarrassment they cost on their own self for what they promised.
I don't see them looking at it in that way. I don't.
You don't think so, sir?
I don't think so.
What they have for the 18 years in power, you think they have done enough, sir?
Well, I think that, yes. It is arguable that
opportunity.
It is arguable that they have done more than enough, sir.
You think so, sir?
More than enough of what?
What? See, you're an intelligent guy. I like talking to you. So this program, nobody else could do this program. You have made this program international throughout the world.
Is that so?
Yes. You people talk about you in the U.S. here like you're a king.
Oh.
I have this friend in Long Island in New York, and he speak about you every day.
Is that
so?
So?
You're a man that would do better for the country if you ever became prime minister.
Oh my gosh. No, sir, that's out of the question.
No, but I'm telling you what people say. I think the people of Jamaica should think about future, because not everybody wants to run away or leave, or, you know, after they finish college, put so much money, like in that lady on the air the other day was talking about, she graduated from a nursing school and she can't get a job, and would like to stay there for even the tropical climate that would keep people more healthy in health-wise would want to leave. And I think the people of Jamaica should really think, because I don't think Jamaica is heading anywhere towards a future with this government. I think this government is really disappointed the people, and I don't know if the people don't have the guts, they need to push, they need something to motivate them. Them listening to it.
Well, if they think
one day a week should motivate them and let them see what's going on.
All right, sir.
You know, and I hope that all that money they put back in the World Cup, they're making it back, because I don't think they're going to make it.
I don't see it. It isn't looking like that.
I look at the stands, sir, and I can view, because the people that broadcasting it back to direct TV here in the U.S., they show you the stands, and the stands are empty. I don't know where the money going to come from, because I'm watching it on a 67-inch LCD TV.
Yes.
And I can see everything. And I don't see where the stands are that filled to make that money.
No, so and we haven't got any vast amount of visitors as a result of it.
No, and the stands are empty.
Yeah.
And I mean, I paid for until April 1st, I paid $200 to cut for all the matches that's been played in Jamaica.
And those who have come, sir, including members of the media, are seeing some horrible, seeing and hearing reports of some horrible crimes occurring in the country.
What?
You know? Children being murdered and all that kind of thing.
What? You see, that's why the other day I was talking to a person on your station. I don't know if I can call their name.
It's all right.
And I was talking to Mr. Ronnie Tweet the other morning and getting his feedback. And we were talking about crime and violence. And he was, well, the tourist is here and a lot of money is being made. And he's trying to say that tourism is doing great. But I didn't believe that.
Tourism is what?
I guess it's doing great.
Well, that's not what we're hearing from people in the tourism industry.
And I never expect much from him, because in saying the truth. But I get the numbers, I get the figures, I get what's coming in to the island, because I'm really interested in my country. And I can tell you that, that's bad for the first year that we have World Cup in our country, and we expect the visitors to be taken care of.
Yes.
And there have been murder, killing going on like it's...
Yes, a couple of days ago, a 2-year-old child was murdered. 2 years old. By gunmen.
You know what this is saying? There is no Minister of Security, and I don't know what the minister... I don't know what the Commissioner of Police is doing.
Yeah. But the Minister of National Security, sir, has been talking about this. He said the problem is one of the appalling performance of the education sector, one, and secondly, the inadequate allocation of resources to the Ministry of National Security.
That is, I think he's I don't think he's speaking through his mouth, sir. I think he's speaking somewhere. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think he's not aware of what he's saying. I think, I hail out to the people of Jamaica today. Like a Jamaican like me, I have $1 million in US that I would like to come back and invest in my country.
Yes.
I am waiting for a change. It's time to take the kids out the rain.
All right, sir.
And I hope the people of Jamaica today will make up their minds for the future for everyone.
All right.
And thank you very much.
All the best to you too. Thanks for calling.
Employers, the deadline for your NHD annual returns for 2006 is March 31, 2007. Ensure that you include the correct name, TRN, and NIS number of each employee. Submit your NHD annual returns now. The time by the NHD is
12:45.
Is one of Miss Merkel sound like she getting a spirit again?
No, sir. It's a podcast card she get and she overglad.
How come? But I think it's just a certain people in certain places. Lord, missus, you know you're the latest. Them expand now. Anybody with a part and living in Kingston, St. Andrew or Spanish Town can apply for the part cash card and get them regular money on the card.
Then it's how much for that?
It don't cost nothing. Just go to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security office and apply for the card. Carry your ID, your TRN number, and your last part check stub.
Apply for your Path Cash Card today. For further information, call 1-888-991-PATH. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Give your business a boost. JM Small Business Loans presents Biz Boost, a low-interest loan for small and medium-sized businesses. Speedy processing, easy access, and flexible terms are yours. It's just the boost your business needs. Call now and give our field officers the opportunity to help you expand your business. Conditions apply. Call toll-free 1-888-725-6267 or visit your nearest JM Small Business Loans branch or any Jamaica National branch island-wide. Biz Boost from JM Small Business Loans. We mean big things for small businesses.
The Lotto jackpot is $70 million. That's right. The Lotto jackpot is $70 million. Don't miss your chance. Buy your Lotto ticket early. Lotto, a ticket to your dreams.
You're listening to Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's Talk Show. Our phone numbers are 968-4901, 968-4902, 968-4903. Our local toll-free line is 1-888-991-4072. Or you may call our international toll-free line, courtesy of the People's Telecom of Jamaica Limited, winners of the prestigious Jamaica Milestone Award on 1-866-LINK-106. That's 1-866-5465-106. You can also log on and listen to Perkins Online live on the World Wide Web free at www.go-jamaica.com. Now back to Perkins Online on Power 106 FM.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello? 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 What is happening? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, not bad, but I have a little pressing concern about the Prime Minister yesterday.
Yes.
I just wanted to say it.
Uh-huh.
The Prime Minister, Mr. Perkins, seems as if she's working with herself and her party.
She's what?
Working with herself and her party.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Perkins said the truth, she's jumping out her clothes now, you know.
You think so?
Yes, sir. She needs to get back into her dress. Because she's working with the Jamaican people.
Uh-huh.
And whenever she say, whatever she said in Parliament yesterday, she must go back and look at that tape. It is well telling her something.
Uh-huh.
And I hope she's listening right now about herself and the impression that she's giving us out here.
Uh-huh.
All I can say to her, you know, Mr. Perkins, is that she's sleeping and she must wake up and smell the coffee.
You think it's a matter of her sleeping?
Yes, sir. I think her eyes are closed.
Oh, I see.
And the thing that she's supposed to be doing now is show us the document and the receipt for the money that was being sent back.
Yes.
Because, Mr. Perkins, I was in the state once and I wanted to send some money to a certain bank in Jamaica. And I got a slip from a friend and I went there and I sent the money. The lady said to me, stamp the paper, give me back my receipt. And said to me, you can't draw money from this bank. You only can draw it in Jamaica. I said, I know. You understand?
Uh-huh.
And if you send back the money, Mr. Perkins, the money you must have some form of something.
Yes.
Stating that they received the money and the time when if you're an accountant, you know that.
Yes.
And even when you're not an accountant, you're supposed to know that too.
Yes.
I think she's joking, you know.
Well, the question is whether the money was in fact sent back.
The money not sent back gone away, Mr. Perkins. The money don't go nowhere. They're trying to walk on people and wanted to hack as if they are the boss. And whatever they say goes. And when they're in Parliament, Mr. Perkins, they talk to other people like trash. What we are out here supposed to do? They act as they are bullies.
$40 million is a lot of money, you know.
And it was being used up.
Yeah.
It was being used up. So where they are going to get it to send back?
Well, I don't know.
They act as if Jamaican people are stupid and we are fools and we don't have any sense. Well, let me tell them something, you know, Mr. Perkins. They are working with us, you know. And anybody supposed to be bullies is the people outside of Parliament. We are the bullies and we tell them what to do. And they don't go into Parliament and talk for us and do rubbish inside there. You understand? It's time that, I think it's time they wake up and stop being bullies to other people. And talking to people like trash when they're in Parliament. What they're teaching our children. The children are getting, you realize what is happening to the children now?
Well, Mom, a gentleman called me earlier on this morning. Telling me about something that happened at a school in Mandeville.
All right.
You heard it?
No, I don't remember. I know the one out by Camperdown, where the kids are sent home and things like that. And you see those little kids going on, Mr. Perkins? Showing them shoes, showing them bling bag, and it's as if they are disrespectful, and all because of what Parliament is doing now.
Well, I don't know, but
yeah, I feel that is it, Mr. Perkins. When I was growing up, that never used to happen.
That is quite right.
And even when I grew up and being old as I am, it's just recently, Mr. Perkins, these things happen. And I think it's supposed to stop, and I think they are passing law about this and that and that. They have to pass law about themselves talking to people like trash in Parliament. That is where it's coming from. And I hope that stop, and I hope Madam Prime Minister go back and look at the tape that she what was saying in Parliament. It's a disgrace. It's really a disgrace. That's all I have to say today, Mr. Perkins. A long time I haven't called you, but it really got on top of my nerves yesterday when I saw her. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much. Day. All the best to you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? How are you today?
Not too bad. How are you?
Not bad. I would like to ask, you were talking about the $9 billion.
No, keep your voice up.
Yes, you were talking about the $9 billion that has been spent to host World Cup in Jamaica.
That they say they've spent.
Well.
And we have yet heard about the overruns.
Yes, but be that as it may, if you look at all of the countries that have actually hosted an international event, namely World Cups, football, and all of that stuff, they have actually gone out and made some expenditures.
No, your voice is going.
They have actually gone out and made some expenditures that that they would not normally do within the regular course of time.
Yes.
And I believe that has helped them to an extent to actually build some of the infrastructures that they wouldn't normally improve on.
Yes.
I think that the World Cup here it gives us this opportunity to also, build on the infrastructure, some of the infrastructures in this country. And some people are quarreling that they have improved some of the hospitals in Trelawney and in St. James.
Have they really?
Yes, they have done some amount of improvement. In fact, even the Trelawney now has I think
I know they said they were going to.
No man,
but as to whether they have, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that what we need to do is to go out and see for ourselves whether or not these things are happening, because I can tell you that there's a lovely fire station now in Trelawney, and there is also the police station has not yet been completed, but it is a sight to behold. And a lot of improvement has been done to the Falmouth Hospital. And
do you think we need to have World Cup here every 6 months?
I think we need the Caribbean needed to.
Well, I don't know about the Caribbean. Because I don't know that things in the rest of the Caribbean are in the state that they are here. But if we were to have a World Cup every 6 months, then in different parts of the country,
yes,
then our hospitals would possibly be in better shape. We would have better fire units. The police would have better stations and better conditions of work. And all that kind of thing. Wouldn't that be a good thing?
You see, but basically what has happened, there's a spin-off effect for hosting these types of events, because actually, persons that can look at Jamaica in terms of the type of investments that can happen. So it is actually marketing the country. That is what we're doing through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Trade and
well, look here, sir.
through Jampro.
I think that I've heard people talking about this, and there are a lot of people who are resentful of the fact that they live here in Jamaica.
Yes.
They pay taxes, right? The government didn't see it necessary to ensure that the environment in which they lived and worked was properly taken care of.
Yes.
The garbage kept off the streets, the hospitals in good shape, security, whatever, right? But it is when the government expects that a horde of foreigners are coming here to view World Cup cricket that they think it necessary to do things like this and to beautify the place. And
but I wouldn't look at it in that manner.
But of course, how else are you to look at it?
I wouldn't look at it in that light, because other countries, and you normally take precedence from what?
No, I don't think, sir. Hold on a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that in Britain, in Australia, in New Zealand, in India, I don't think that that is what happens, right? I don't think that when they're having a World Cup, they have to go around and clean up the place and put the hospitals in order and so on.
All of the countries, in fact, when the countries are lobbying for the World Games or whatever, part of the reason for lobbying for it is that the whoever is in charge of the city or the town or whatever knows that there's going to be some amount of spending done to help them to bring back to certain standard their towns and cities.
No, man.
So basically that is basically
how
I've heard the argument.
And I would doubt that Barbados has to go and clean up Bridgetown in order to have people.
Well, you spoke about one. You have been speaking about opportunity cost,
right? About what?
Opportunity cost. And you know about our budget more than even some of the persons who speak about it. But you know about our budget in terms of we have the $1 to spend, right? And you have all these areas. The police, you talk about security, you talk about hospital, you talk about school, you talk about the priority areas. Now, this $1, you and I know, will not be able to satisfy all the various sectors in the way in which you would want it to be see it being satisfied.
Yes.
Now, how do we spend that $1? If you were the Prime Minister or the Minister of Finance, how would you spend that $1 to ensure that the people of Jamaica get the benefit out of it and leave some of the sectors not being satisfied?
Well, I would hope not to spend it paying interest on debt.
Yes.
Right? And if I were going to, as Minister of Finance, to set out to acquire a lot of debt, then what I would hope to do is to spend that money that we borrow in such a way that it earns the means of servicing itself. Right?
If we're going to borrow.
If we're going to borrow.
Okay.
If you're borrowing money.
Yes.
Right? The intelligent thing to do is to borrow that money, to invest it in some productive process, which will earn the means of paying the interest, paying back the debt, and leaving something over as profit.
So we should never borrow money to fix the police stations, because
I beg your pardon?
So we should not borrow money to fix police stations.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, we're back with you, sir. What were you saying?
Yes, you were saying that whatever we borrow, we should use it to earn, right?
Yes.
and that you would consider sensible borrowing. So I was asking you the question: wouldn't you borrow to improve security?
To improve security?
Right, national security. Wouldn't you borrow to improve the
Well, I tell you what. You mean like doing work on police stations and so on?
Yes, wouldn't you borrow to improve, do work on police stations?
Well, I would prefer to see that done out of revenues. But it is arguable that there are circumstances in which improving the security might improve the revenues. Right?
Right.
In that it might lead to higher levels of investment, higher levels of GDP, higher levels of employment,
yes,
and so on.
So isn't that the same form of speculation?
I beg your pardon?
Isn't that the same form of speculation that government, the technocrats and all the persons do when they're thinking about
hold on a little bit, sir. I don't know. I don't know what this government. Hold on, now. That government has borrowed this country into something. They say something in there just below $1 billion. But there are some huge volumes of debt that I don't know. I'm not sure that those have yet been added in, like the debt that heavy burden that was lifted off the shoulders of Mr.
Jamaica.
Butch Stewart, right?
Yes.
I don't know whether that has yet been added into the debt figures, right? But the question is, yes, the question is, of what value was that to Jamaica? Right? When the government, hold on now, when the government committed itself to that kind of subsidy for Air Jamaica, right?
Yes, I'm listening.
When the government committed itself to lifting that burden off Mr. Butch Stewart's shoulder, right? How was that beneficial to Jamaica?
No, you're going to tell me that.
Eh?
You're going to tell me that.
I don't have a clue.
You don't have a clue.
No.
Right. So I am saying to you.
And I hold on. I am left to wonder.
That investment
hold on.
Made,
I am left to wonder.
Was made, Mr. Perkins.
But hold on. Let me speak. Let me say now.
All right.
I am left to wonder.
Yes.
Whether the government did that.
Yes.
Had any sense, or they were stupid enough to think that doing that would be of benefit to the people of Jamaica, and especially the poor people of Jamaica, who are going to be paying taxes to pay off that burden, right?
Two questions.
I don't know whether they thought that.
Would you support the government? Had the government used that same amount of debt, money, right, to put into small business loans, would you support the government in doing that? That same debt that Air Jamaica has now incurred, would you support the government to invest that then into small business persons to improve their
I don't know. I think that there are other and better ways of small business getting
would you support
loans.
the government in using that fund? Would you support the government in using that fund to improve the condition in the hospital?
No, sir. I think that there are to improve what conditions?
The conditions of the hospital.
The hospital.
Yes, you are saying that the hospitals are bad. Whatever.
Yes, they're in a mess.
So therefore, would you support the government in using that fund?
But hold on a minute, sir. The people of Jamaica hold on. The people of Jamaica are paying taxes.
Yes.
Right? Now,
but the tax is not enough, Mr. Perkins.
How do you mean the tax is not enough?
You and I know that the tax.
No. The tax is not
collected is not
hold on
enough to satisfy
the taxes that the hold on. The taxes that the people of Jamaica are paying, sir, are not being used for any such purposes. Right?
It's used to pay back debt.
We are now in a situation. It cannot service the debt.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
There was a budget a couple of years ago in which the revenues of the government amounted to 172 billion or somewhere there, right? The total budget was 332 billion, I think, or 28 billion, somewhere there. And the debt servicing costs was 228 billion, right? Leaving only 100 billion, all borrowed money to do everything else that government had to do.
Yes.
That is the predicament into which the government has brought this country.
And you have spoken to that on numerous occasions.
Yes.
Now I'm asking you, look at the other side of the country. If you had the Air Jamaica money right now to spend, be it as it be, it's borrowed money, which sector of this country, which sector would you invest that money in?
Well, I'd probably want to use it to pay down the debt.
You would use that money to pay down the debt.
Yes.
And therefore, what would be the people in the inner cities or in the country would be still balling out for better health care. They would be still balling out for proper education.
But then if you pay down,
but you are saying that because the debt burden is so high, that doesn't really, whether it's high or it's low to the regular Joe Blow, he doesn't care. What he cares about is what is happening for him now. And if he gets sick, when he goes to the hospital, whether or not he's going to get good service.
Yes.
When he has a problem and he calls the police, whether the police is going to be there in 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or within the next day.
Yes.
These are some of the things that the regular John Brown on the road thinks about.
Yes.
He's not thinking about whether or not Air Jamaica spend how much overrun or standards overrun. He's not thinking about that. And therefore we have to...
But if he doesn't think about that, sir, if to the extent that the government is wasting resources on those projects,
yes,
the government is going to be unable to do the things that he needs to have done.
Right. So therefore, I would argue, Mr. Perkins, that we would want to say to the government, these are the areas in which I would want you to invest, whether it be borrowed money, whether it be revenue money, whatever money it is that the country has in its budget. These are the areas in which we would want this money to be spent. And I think that, I don't know, I think that would have been a better way of us arguing the issues more than to just look at it in the sense that so much money is being spent. You talk about the Air Jamaica issue, but at the same point in time, any government that comes in now, be it the PNP or the JLP government, they are going to be borrowing money to finance the budget, and what they spend it on is going to determine whether or not the country benefits from it.
But that is something that Dr. Davis has spent about, 13 or 14 years creating.
Yes.
Right? You can't just get away from it in a day.
True.
Right? But what we need is to have a program, to have policies in place, right? Which are going to have the effect of getting us out of that. I mean, when those policies are implemented, the country will be got out of that in a reasonable period of time.
Well, as I spoke about that, the policy is determined by the ideology of the parties, right?
Look here, sir. The ideology of the ideology of the party can go to hell. What we need is a government that is going to manage the affairs of this country in a way that is going to offer us better prospects for the future. Okay?
So
that's it. And up to now, this government has not shown the ability to do that.
But the point I'm making to you, Mr. Perkins, is that when we look at the ideologies of the two parties, which you say must go to hell, this is what the persons who put up themselves as member of parliament, this is the ideology on which they base their arguments. Now,
what ideology?
Well, be it as a democratic socialism ideology. Be it a democratic socialism ideology.
Who is the democratic socialism?
Be it a straight capitalist ideology. Whatever ideology that is being branded about, because the Jamaica Labour Party is known as the capitalist party.
Is what?
Is known as the capitalist party.
Yes, hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here with you, sir. What were you saying?
The GLP has a highly capitalist idea.
Capitalist.
Right. I think they believe in once you fix the economy, then everything else will fall into place. Right?
The PNP?
And the PNP has a more democratic socialism ideology. Wherein yes, you should have a stabilized social fabric wherein the people in the country helps to make the decision and they benefit.
Could I ask you something? Could I ask you something?
Yes.
The most successful countries in the world.
Yes.
What are they? The richest countries in the world?
The richest countries in the world.
What are they? Democratic, socialist, or
United States,
or capitalist?
United States that benefited from how many hundred years of slavery? Britain that benefited from how many hundred years of slavery and colonialism? France, similar. You call the names of the countries, and they have benefited from exploiting.
Germany.
Yes, but Germany, yes, to an extent.
Switzerland?
Yes, Mr. Perkins. Switzerland, no. Switzerland did not colonize any country, to my knowledge.
What about Singapore?
But Mr. Perkins.
Hold on, no. What about Singapore?
Singapore, friend of the United States.
Friend of where?
Friend of the United States.
Of the United States?
Yes. And therefore, they benefited from the U.S. because of they were the ally. They are still the ally of the United States during all of the
where you get
wars.
That nonsense from?
Singapore benefited from a number of trade agreements with the United States.
So what?
Because for expediency purpose too.
China has trade agreements with the United States.
No man, but Singapore
Look here,
has
hold on, sir. Don't talk foolishness, right?
You know,
hold on. Capitalism.
You are the master of study.
Capitalism. Capitalism is the most successful economic method.
And also
call
the
it
most
what you will.
Destructive
right?
of human capital.
And also what?
The most destructive of human
no,
capital.
that's not true.
No, and let me tell you why.
That is not true. That's foolishness.
Africa.
That's absolute rubbish.
No man, Africa has suffered because of capitalism. Because the United States and the other countries want to remain.
Africa has what?
Africa has suffered because of capitalism. And let me tell you why.
Don't talk absolute
No,
rubbish.
man, it is not absolute rubbish, Mr. Perkins.
Africa has suffered because of the failures of its own leadership.
The failures of its
anyway,
own leaders.
look here. We're wasting time. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica Atkinson.
Yes.
I'm calling about an incident that took place back in Broadgate, St. Mary, about a month ago. No, it's been from Monday.
You mean the bridge?
Yes, with the bridge.
Yes.
It's been from Monday. My relatives, my father, he's left over there with his other relatives. They haven't had anything to eat of such since Monday. And the river, it had come down. So I don't know how I could try and assist them by getting help for them to have something to eat.
Oh my God. You mean they can't get out?
They can't get out. And I don't know how anyone can go over. The kids, they went to school and they couldn't reach back home. I had to drive all the way from Kingston to St. Mary to pick them up, to take them here with me.
Yes.
So they
and
can't reach to their spirit either.
the river is down.
Pardon me?
You say the river is down?
It is down now.
Oh, God. Oh, hell.
I mean, it comes down, it is not as low that they can come across to get anything
Yes.
to eat.
It's flooded
Yes, it is flooded.
as a result of the rains.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And the kids, they're in Kingston here with me. They can't get to go home to go to school.
Yes.
So I don't know if I could probably get some help somehow.
I wonder how many people across the river are having that problem.
You have, I would say about 10, and I've heard some people from Flint River. I can't tell the amount of them that is also there across the school.
From Flint River?
Yes. The cottage. They're staying over by the cottage.
Yes. But let me ask you something. Can't they escape by going south, down towards the Gualta Vale?
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, they probably don't survive.
And then go across the bridge down there?
I'm not sure. I am not sure.
There's a turning at a Gualta Vale that goes up to Highgate, and there's a bridge across the river there, right?
Uh-huh.
Now it's quite a walk, I should think. But if they can go along the riverbank,
yes,
right?
Uh-huh.
They should get down and be able to escape down
Mr.
there.
Perkins, I don't cut you, but it seems as if you had trod that side before, man. You know everything about the bushes.
Well, I used to live down there. I used to live not on that side, but on the Flint River side.
On the Flint River side.
Yes, I.
Well, that is quite some walking on.
One of the times when they fired me out of journalism, I got into dairy farming down there. You see.
That is quite some walk, and it's been from Monday, and they had not figured that out, so probably they would just pass, trying to reach to the main, walking that long.
No, if they are in a situation where they can't get food, you know, they have to try and escape.
Yes.
And if the river is down, and they can't get across the river there, then they have to, it would seem to me that the thing to do is to head for where is the bridge, right?
Hello?
I said the thing to do is to head, if they could make an arrangement with you, you could pick them up down there.
I'm all the way in Kingston with the kids.
Yes, I know, but you have to try and save them.
Yes.
But still, what this is illustrating is the nature of the problem and the cost to people of the damn carelessness of the government.
Oh, that's
right?
true.
Because it was known that bridge was in awful condition. Right?
It was.
The mayor said he wrote to the minister. The minister has not denied that he was written to about it. Right? And what happened? Nothing.
Well, the main thing about it is right now for me is to try to figure out some way for them to get something to eat.
Yes.
I
wonder if you were to get in touch with the Office of Disaster Preparedness, whether they would not be able to help.
Do you have a number for them?
I haven't got it, but it is presumably in the book.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
I think they are the people to get in touch with.
All right.
All right.
I'll try.
And you can let us know what happens.
I will.
Good. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins. Boy, you have a wonderful show over there, you know. I'm calling all the way from Florida. I've been on
is that so?
Yeah, I'm on the line here about almost 20 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway.
I forget. I tried the international line, but it didn't work.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Anyway, I have
a... When you say it didn't work, why?
It didn't go through. So I tried the local line, so the long distance.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah. I have a problem, Mr. Perkins. And it's. I mean, everybody has a problem. But look at this. We have a district in Westmoreland. They call Cedar Grove.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiarized with it.
Well, I'm not familiar with it, but I know it.
But it's not far from Bedelltown.
Yes.
And there's district and district around that little district. And the problem is, Mr. Perkins, my grandmother turned 101.
I beg your pardon?
Yes. And that road, Mr. Barnes, from Cedar Grove, that road in Cedar Grove is about less than 2 miles long. And nobody would ever fix that road. 101, my grandmother is.
And she has been walking.
The road, I'm not trying to cut you off. The road has been fixed one time in our age. We have a few deaths around here. I myself have to get trucks to fill the potholes and then get grader and grade it down to bury dead around here, you know, sir. To bury our dead. There's no true traffic through that road. And I think yesterday morning you'd have a minister on the radio. One morning there you have one of those road minister.
Did I?
Yes, and I was trying to come in to ask him about
it. Was probably Ronnie's program, Ronnie Fitz's program.
Yeah, I think so. But there's any way you could put a note down on your desk there, Mr. Barnes, and find out why that road cannot be fixed?
Well, sir, there are numerous roads in Jamaica that are not being fixed. Right?
I know, I understand.
And it is happening because of the ruinous policies of the government. Right? They're spending money on all sorts of things, but not on the things that would improve the prospect of the people.
Yeah, but Mr. Perkins, we have one road, not even 10 chain, away from my Cedar Grove road.
Yes.
Not even 10 chain. And they fix it twice.
Oh,
they
God.
fix Barneyside Road. They fix Bettletown Road. They fix Lambs River Road. They fix a road in Belvedere. Right? And the answer I get the last time I asked Mr. Delancey, he's the councillor there.
Yes.
It's like these people that live in Cedar Grove is labor right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That doesn't. I thought the Constitution was for the whole island and the whole of the people.
Well, so whether you're laborite or PNP, you're paying taxes.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. And you have a right to your road being fixed and.
Right. Every road round every other district road had been fixed away from that little road, and it's not less than 2 miles.
Yes. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, man. You're dead. You're dead. You can't bury your dead.
Hello?
Yeah, I said up to your dead. You can't even bury your dead.
Yes. Well, hold on just a moment. Okay. Thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins. There's another incident, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
Where they're supposed to give us light around the same district. And they put down the light post. They put down all the light posts to run the light through the district. And did you know they went back and take it up?
When did they put them down?
Well, I'm just giving you one instance. They put it down, but not that we have light around here. But I'm just try to tell
you have light down there now?
Yeah, they did finally made a mistake, run the line, and then when they find out that they run the line, they couldn't change it again. They make a mistake with the district name.
Oh, I see. But when was it that they laid the pipe, the thing down?
No, they didn't take. The last time they put up the post, they couldn't take it out. But there was a mistake. They said we shouldn't get light at the time.
I see what you mean.
You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, Mr. P, if you could help me in some way. If I'm
Well,
living in Florida here too.
I don't know how to do that, but the fact of the matter is that that an election is coming up shortly.
Yes.
So I think that the people around there should start talking to their MP. Right? But Mark, you're telling me that they say that the people are laborettes.
That's right.
I see what you mean.
You know.
So they.
It's very unfair for us, for we're paying tax just like anybody else. You know. And I just like your show, and I just decided maybe if I call, maybe I could get some response from somebody. You know.
Well, let's hope so that that somebody will pay some attention. The people. We could get in touch with the look here, give me that, what's the name of the road?
The district is Cedar Grove District.
Cedar Grove.
Yes, it's about a mile from Betheltown. Betheltown is the post office. That's why I'm trying to give you that district. Everybody in that district basically take our mails at Betheltown.
Yes.
And we have an inspector, I think a superintendent station there, our inspector station.
And what's the name of the road?
The road is Cedar Grove Road.
Cedar Grove Road.
Yes, sir. And it's in Westmoreland, like I said, not far from Betheltown, which is our post office. And all the rest of the community has good road around here, and we don't. I don't know why. You know?
Well, I'll try. What I'll do, I'll try and get in touch with the National Road Agency. What's the name? National Works Agency.
Yes, sir.
And find. I wonder whether this is a parish council road, though.
Yeah, it is a parish council road.
It's a parish council road.
Yes, sir.
The parish council probably doesn't have the money, but
how they have the money to fix the other roads, then?
Yes, well. Anyway, we'll make some inquiries for you. All right?
How would I hear about?
Well, by listening on the program.
Well, I listen to you every day. It doesn't matter. I listen to you every day.
Yes, we'll try and get in touch with somebody about this.
Yeah, you keep up the good road, Mr.
Okay,
Perkins.
thank you very much. All the best to you. And I hope your grandmother keeps going strong. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Hello, I'm a student from Toronto, and I'm just getting into Jamaican politics, right?
You're just what?
Getting into Jamaican politics.
Oh, you are?
Studying. Hello?
You're studying Jamaican politics?
Yeah. And what the gentleman before the last gentleman, he was talking about capitalism and socialism.
Yes. Democratic.
Yeah, and you said capitalism is the most successful system.
He said that?
You said that.
I said that.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Because it creates such poverty. Because what system is Jamaica under right now?
I don't know what system Jamaica is under right now. I'm not sure what to call it.
Okay, but capitalism.
Jamaica is in a model.
Wouldn't socialism work better?
I beg your pardon?
Wouldn't socialism work better?
Oh, as in the Soviet Union?
Well, no, let's say a Cuban system.
At where?
Cuba. Yeah.
How well has socialism worked in Cuba?
Well, the people, since they get cut off from certain things, they have to they supply for themselves, and they have they have better medical care than before.
Look here, sir.
Right?
The Cuban regime has been successful in a number of areas.
Yes.
Right? They have promoted a great discipline in the society. They have managed to educate their people. Right? They have created a wonderful, a very successful, apparently, medical system. They've trained a lot of doctors and nurses and whatever. Right?
Yes.
The economy of Cuba is rather less successful than it might otherwise have been. Right?
Well, what do you mean by economy? Because the people are living, right? Would you say they're living better than Jamaican people?
Yes, I suppose that might be said. I don't know.
Well, shouldn't that be a system that Jamaica can somehow like adapt parts of that system?
Well, I don't know that the Cuban system has overall been sufficiently successful to make me want to recommend it as something that should be adopted. I'm saying...
Well, like what... Because wouldn't that be the best system to recommend for the system that Jamaica has? Because Jamaica's system, I guess you'd say, wasn't really working that well.
No. Jamaica... Part of Jamaica's problem is the failure of the economy to develop. Right?
The economy, yes.
The failure to create opportunities for people. Right? And this is opportunities both in the... as provided by the public sector and the private sector. Right?
Yes.
But it seems to me to be beyond doubt, sir, that the most successful economic system in the world is capitalism.
Yes, but the problem with capitalism, right, is that it works on exploitation of labor, right?
I don't know that
Which you see in like the free zone.
No, I don't know that is so.
Yes, because like it benefits from labor and it creates inequality, which is the inequality that you see in the Great Wealth, is what you call the success.
But the inequality is the result of inequality of performance.
Performance?
Yes.
Well, what about like would you say someone that works in China for pennies a day, if they work harder than someone else,
Yes, but
that's
hold on
that performance deserves
hold on a bit. I don't think that China could be said to be operating an entirely capitalist system, right? China has
they're partners in the capitalism system of the world, right?
China has introduced certain elements of capitalism, but it is still basically a uniparty situation, not a democracy, right? And it is run by the Communist Party of China, right?
Yes.
They adapt certain capitalist patterns, and doubtless will adapt more as time goes on.
Yes.
Right?
But you see, when you say the Jamaican problem is opportunity, right?
The Jamaican problem is complex, right?
Yes, but
it expresses
like you
itself.
say, there's problems with health, there's problems with law.
Yes,
and expresses itself. Education.
It expresses itself in a failure to provide opportunity for people, right? But it is it has a number of factors also. Will you hold on for a moment for me? Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Yes. Hello? Hello?
So the problem with Jamaica is the opportunity?
The problem, well, that's one of the problems in Jamaica. Jamaica provides relatively little opportunity for its people, either in terms of education or employment, whatever.
Yes, but we can see from the Cuban example that there are ways to solve those problems, because the way Cuba works, it's like a family. You put in what you can, and you get what you need from the country.
So you suggest that we go the Cuban route?
Well, what other routes have we tried, and which one has failed, or which one has failed so far?
Well, I shouldn't have said that the Cuban method has been eminently successful. There are a lot of countries in which are far more. I mean, Cuba's had serious problems, with American opposition and all this kind of thing, right? But I think that I think that a lot of the problem has to do with the preeminence of politics and the dominance of the public sector in Cuba, which is not dissimilar to what we have in Jamaica, though it expresses itself differently. Right?
Yes.
The economic freedom that one associates with capitalism, I don't think we have in this country. And I don't think that Jamaica has made itself attractive to investors. Right?
Yes.
And what is further is that the policies of the government have encouraged the owners of capital in Jamaica to invest their capital in government paper rather than in productive activity. Right?
So what do they invest it in?
In government paper. The government is borrowing its head off. Right?
It's money?
Yeah, borrowing money to finance its budget.
Okay.
I mean, I remember one budget a couple of years ago. The budget was 330, call it.
Well, what you said before, 300 was the revenue and 200 was that?
No, 300, the budget was $330 billion, Jamaican dollars.
Mm-hmm.
The revenues was about $172 billion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the servicing of debt was $230 billion.
Yes.
So the budget, $230 billion of a $330 billion budget
went to debt.
Went to debt, right?
Okay.
And the revenues were inadequate to service the debt, right?
Yes.
The revenues being only 172 billion or somewhere there, 175, somewhere there, right?
Yeah.
Now that is not untypical. That is the sort of situation that we have here, right? Where the government has created such massive debt, and God alone knows what has happened to it, what has been done with it, right?
Okay. So what's the problem with debt? Isn't there systems of like debt relief?
Debt relief? You mean that
yeah.
Well, we haven't been able to benefit from that yet.
Because you see that when the man was talking about before was about England, like the thing with the trade agreement with the bananas with the ACP.
Yes.
How they have favorable rates for Caribbean and African producers.
Yes, indeed. In other words, they're
even
subsidizing inefficient performance. Yeah, they're subsidizing an inefficient, inadequate allocation of resources. Right? You have an industry like the sugar industry, right? It produces sugar at a higher cost than competitors elsewhere in the world. And it survives because of the willingness of Britain in the first place and the Europeans in the second.
Yeah, but with the ACP agreement, right?
Eh?
With the ACP agreement with the bananas.
Yes.
To Europe. That shows that Britain and European countries feel that they have a role in solving a problem that they historically helped to create.
Well, I don't know that they're helping to solve a problem. It seems to me that they are encouraging the misallocation
they have a role in solving the problem because they had a role in
But they're not solving the problem, sir. They are perpetuating a misallocation of resources.
They're not solving, but they're somehow aiding because without that ACP, what would happen? Without
that ACP, we would have to look for something else to do with the resources that we are putting into sugar and bananas.
Yes,
and maybe
but,
it would do well for our economy.
Well, the Cuban example, it finds ways to have better education, medicine.
Better
and,
what?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, the Cuban system has ways of providing education, low
Yes,
crime.
but hold on a little bit. The Cuban system is flawed. Is also flawed. Right?
How is it flawed?
How you mean? It is overproducing doctors, for example. It is producing
Well, what's
more.
wrong with if everyone was a doctor, wouldn't that be a great world?
No, I'm not sure that it would be. Because
If everyone was a doctor?
if everyone was a doctor, sir, how would we get from home to the doctor? Right?
If everyone was a doctor?
Yes.
We can cure ourselves. If everyone was, doctor, just another way.
Well, how would we get to the pharmacy to get the drugs we needed? Right? Who would have built the motor car, and who would keep it functioning? And who would make the roads so that we could drive?
You have preachers that are doctors. You have teachers that are doctors.
You mean doctors?
That term doctor can imply just a really educated person in whatever
yes,
field.
Yes, but that is not the point. In Cuba is overproduced or has overproduced doctors, and they have more doctors than they need, and have exported doctors all over the Caribbean, right?
And you're saying that's a problem?
It is a problem because they have a lot of doctors, but their economy remains stagnant.
What's economy? Because their people are being fed, right?
Their
people are being educated. Their people are being given health. So what is their
yes,
needed?
But their
What's
people
needed for the economy?
the standard of living in Cuba is very low.
What's the standard of living here? In Jamaica.
In Jamaica, it's in many instances. For much of the population, it is very low. Could possibly even lower than in Cuba.
So tell me, is it better to be lower than Cuba
in
the Jamaican situation?
Yes.
Than be at the Cuban situation with healthcare, with education, and healthcare, education, lots of doctors.
Yes, but I'm sure that if the people of Cuba had a choice, they would want to have a better standard of living. They would want to. Would they love to have the per capita income of Bermuda?
Well,
or of Singapore?
They don't need income because everything is provided for them. They have food, they have healthcare, they have school to go to. They have. What else do you need for life?
Well, why aren't you living in Cuba rather than in Canada? All right. I heard your answer. Okay, hello? We take a break. We come back shortly. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online, and we're going to read some email for you now.
Mr. Perkins, Jamaica signed an extradition treaty with the United States, which came into effect on July 7th, 1991. In my opinion, this treaty should be revisited. As far as this is concerned, there is no reciprocity. This is a one-way street. America does not extradite its citizens to third world countries. This is because they believe their law enforcement and their legal systems are seen as improper. America will, however, use extraordinary rendition to ship non-citizens to countries where the level of punishment administered is not legally permitted in the U.S.
Sorry, I wonder how knowledgeable that person is about the treaty and its functioning. But I'm inclined to agree. I mean, we don't know of any American. Well, I don't know that Jamaica has ever applied for an American to be extradited to Jamaica, and I suspect that the prospects would be rather dim. The United States is not a party to the the International Criminal Court, no? And American citizens are not to be tried in that international institution.
Dear Mr. Perkins, I have been following the issues in the media in Jamaica and the accompanying discussions, and I'm very alarmed that some of the same people who are in the forefront for reparation are silent with the action of the Minister of Justice to sign the extradition paper for those 2 Jamaicans.
Yes.
Remember, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yes, quite true. And I was saying that another thing to be said about the operation of that treaty is that the United States does not see itself as, and the Jamaican, we in Jamaica do not see a need for the American authorities to prove that they have a prima facie case against these people before we go about extraditing them. We don't insist on seeing the grand jury testimony and looking at the effect of cross-examination on the evidence and so on. In fact, do they have cross-examination in the grand jury? I don't think so. No. I don't know. They just send affidavits, and on the basis of those affidavits, the courts are prepared to send Jamaicans up to the United States, even when the president says that they are drug kingpins.
Mr. Perkins, I think you made a mistake this morning when you said that Mr. Campbell was a member of the government. Mr. Campbell had no seat in Parliament when he was handling the Trafigura money.
When what?
When he was handling the Trafigura money.
That's nonsense. He did have a seat in Parliament. He was a member of the Senate.
Yes.
And the Senate is a chamber of Parliament.
Yes.
And not only that, he was a minister. He was the Minister of Information
and Development.
And the Minister also of Development. Not guilty.
Good day, Mr. Perkins.
I don't think I could be extradited on that one. Or should be.
Good day, Mr. Perkins. I find it interesting this morning to reach page 11 of The Observer, written by Mr. Dennis Morrison, the many-hatted man. Can you imagine?
The many-hatted man, but the many-hatted man has one primary hat, as I suppose do all many-hatted men.
He dared to call the article "Collaborate to Make Jamaica Beautiful." Then he referred to the 80s, where Mr. Seaga took on the beautification of Jamaica personally.
Yes, he did.
And made a very good job of it.
Yes, he did.
Can you imagine, Mr. Perkins? Mr. Morrison is, after 18 years, is just coming home to him now to mention the filth we have been living in for so many years. He said that people are complaining how the place is filthy. And when Mrs. Simpson Miller mentioned it last September, about the cleaning up, people began to complain that it was a public waste of public funds. He seems to have forgotten that Mrs. Simpson Miller was local government minister for several years. And it is only last September that she mentioned it. And it was only because cricket was coming. Don't you think Mr. Morrison should use his column to cry shame on the government for not keeping up the beautification program since 1989 and still taking people taxes to pay for it. The maintenance has cost the government nothing. They fixed nothing. They made nothing clean. I am sure Mr. Morrison will not say this about his government. So he's now chastising the people. He says if it wasn't the threat of embarrassment with the cricket, which forced the responsible agencies and other persons to clean up, we would still be in filth. Isn't Mr. Morrison ashamed of the government who is collecting our taxes? That they could have allowed this? Whose job is it to clean the public streets? In the 1980s, we could see what our taxes were doing in this way. The MDM, which was formed in those days, saw to it.
Okay. We take a break. You're listening. Okay. Thank you very much. We're back here. We continue to read the email.
About Dover Castle. It's a rural, predominantly farming community on the outskirts of Linstead in St. Catherine. Almost all except those homes built since the mid-80s had, at one time or the other, been serviced by the National Water Commission. The period mentioned is significant because since then, no water has flowed through the mains. I am 40 years old and I have not, except on the streets when it rains, seen running water in Dover Castle since I left high school in 1983. Sometimes when I hear other communities speak of not having water for days, I think to myself, try 20 odd years. For some 15 years, the roadway, 15 years, has not been refurbished. It is not, the surface is now one of the worst. The best out, some 15 years, the roadway was, I see. Some 15 years, the roadway was passing by, was completely refurbished to the level that the surface was very good. Now it is the worst. Thanks to the laying of new mains to facilitate water distribution. That was 4 years ago. Still no water.
Is he saying that there was running water there when he was a boy in school?
Yes. Up to 20 years ago.
And since then, none?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And then he said the road was fixed 15 years ago, and 4 years ago it was dug up. And to lay new mains to facilitate water distribution, that was 4 years ago.
And the water distribution hasn't yet occurred?
No.
Oh boy, poor people. Anyway, they brought it on themselves.
Mr. Perkins, you can easily tell that the Trafigura matter is murky and disturbing because of the many versions emanating from various members of the government concerning that affair. We are now hearing from the Prime Minister that the Trafigura money was sent back through the banking system, forgetting that a week or two before, and very strongly, Minister Buchanan swore by all things sacred that the money had been sent back, was being sent back via an emissary. After the story was taken so many convoluting turns, nothing but hard evidence will satisfy anyone in this country that there's any credibility to what these politicians are claiming.
If there is no credibility to what they're claiming, how does one trust them?
And finally, good day, Mr. Perkins. I've been made to understand that no cricket matches will be held at the new stadium at Trelawney. Was the structure built just for the hosting and the opening of the games and a few warm-up matches? If that is so, what a significant waste of the country's money, as I honestly don't think we will ever recover from this debt. cannot see what future events could be held there. Say in the next 5 to 10 years, that will even begin to break even. How the hell will we ever get out of debt if we keep on borrowing to pay back debt? And for the reasons that have no benefit to the country constructively or in any productive way. If we have to borrow, it should be able to produce, to pay back the borrowed amount with surpluses to improve our critical services, such as education, health, housing, and employment. I certainly hope the hype of the cricket events will not sway voters the wrong way, as we can expect an early election very soon.
Yes, I suppose that is so. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Wonderful. Not good at all.
Why?
Having some problems, sir, with my daughter.
Oh?
Registration problem. My daughter was born in 1985.
Yes.
Her name is Melissa Hadian Cox.
Uh-huh.
Now, she's in university. She's 21
Would
years
you
old.
speak directly into the phone?
Yes. She's at a university now.
Yes.
At NCU.
Yes.
She's 21 years old. All the way through, my daughter have her birth certificate, which her name is spelled correctly, which is Heidian. Her middle name. Now her passport has expired, and I need to get a new passport for her. They said I have to get a birth certificate, a new birth certificate, in order to get a passport. I applied for a birth certificate with this express service they have in Mandeville. I paid the money which they charged me. They sent me back her name spelled incorrectly, which spelled Heidiar. Now I called back these people in Kingston at the register office and told them about it. Also the people in Mandeville. They are asking me if I'm aware of when my child was registered, if I was there. Because her name is spelled correctly, which they're giving me now. I said, no, my daughter is 21 years old. She have her name spelled Heidian. They're telling me now I have to pay $9,000 to change that R to an N. I just don't understand it.
I tell you something, sir. I think that I get the impression that the Registrar General's Department is functioning as a collection agency for the government, trying to help out Dr. Davis's budget problems, right? I don't see how they could have supplied you with birth certificates that with the correct, what you say is the correct spelling.
I'm looking at a pink piece of paper which I had for my daughter for years ago now, which is the Certificate of Registry of Birth. This paper is what I have from her way back in, this thing was written up in the 19th of December 1985. Her name is spelled on this thing just the same way, which is an old copy, Heidian.
Yes.
Now they're sending me a copy with an R instead of an N and saying to me now, I have, in order for me to change that name to the R to an N, I must pay $9,000, sir.
And in her old passport?
In her old passport, I'm looking at it now. All the papers right beside me here at my home on my bed. It is Melissa Hadian.
If I were you,
yes, sir,
I would write to them telling them this, right? Telling them that you got birth certificates from the Registrar General's Department.
Yes, sir.
Or was it the previous organization? With her name spelled correctly. That she has a passport, an expired passport, based upon a birth certificate, presumably, that you got from there.
Yes, sir.
That, with her name spelled correctly. And tell them that you have no intention of paying them any $9,000. And that if you do not get a birth certificate from them within 2 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
You are taking the matter to the courts.
In truth and in fact, sir, looking at this passport, I just realized this passport is still not expired until 2010. But it's the old blue passport. I need a new one for her.
Yes.
And that's what I'm trying to work out. And I don't understand how could I have to use a birth certificate to get this passport you have in my hand now.
Yes.
So how her name was spelled on that passport?
Well, just write to them and tell them that you have no intention of paying any $9,000, right? And that if you do not get the birth certificate with her name correctly spelled within 2 weeks, you are taking the matter to the courts.
I will, sir. I called them, I spoke with them on the phone, and all they said to me, the only opportunity, the only choice I have is to pay the $9,000 and I get the name changed.
No, tell them.
The lady was rude. Even say to me if I was there, her mother was registering her. I'm like, what rubbish you telling me? The child name is spelled correctly in her passport, which just gave me a birth certificate already for her. So why is it changed now when she's 21?
Yes, there is no argument, sir. Just write and tell them that. Tell them you're giving them 2 weeks. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
And if not, you go and pay the $9,000 down to a lawyer.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Yes,
and
sir,
get the matter put in the courts.
I will, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
Good day, sir. I've been listening to you for years. You can tell the government of Jamaica if they want a proposal to stop crime up to about 90%. They can talk it on here and I will call you back.
The stop crime,
yeah,
cut it down 90%.
90%. They can just tell it on here and I will call them. But I need some reward for it. But I guarantee it can happen.
All right.
It's not a question. Okay. Thanks, sir.
All right. Okay, we're having problems with our callers. I don't know what the problem is. But do we have anybody now? Hello? No, everybody is hung up. Okay, well, maybe we'd better just give up for the day. I wonder what the Pakistanis have done in the cricket match going on at Zimbabwe is 20 for 3. How much did Pakistan make? Well, 349. That's a pretty good score. They seem to have overcome the mental problems which they must have had, disturbances over the death of their coach. And they seem to have done reasonably well on the batting side of it. Good luck to them. They're supposed to be leaving the West Indies on Saturday, no? Going back to Pakistan. Sorry that they have to remember Jamaica with so much sadness. But that's life. Anyway, we're just about exhausted our time. We hope to be back here tomorrow, usual time, usual place, and we look forward to your company. In the meantime, so long, have a good evening.